Stay with me. We're almost there.
Almost there. Almost there. It's not much further. Don't stop. Don't.
Come on. Cormac!
So what now?
Now we finish this thing. We're the only ones who can stop our hands from launching Manticore.
It's 3 of us. Against an army. It's suicide.
You're right. But it's what he would have done.
Okay.
You got any ideas?
Just one.
Subsurface, approaching the breach point.
2-1, be advised. We will be forced to strike the command center if you are unable to stop the launch. We'll risk further Manticore contamination, but it will be our only option. If you don't think you can stop it, get the hell out of there.
Copy that. Breach point is up ahead. Let's move.
Gideon! Thermal readings are spiking inside the command center. They're going to launch soon.
We'll make it. Mitchell, on me. Ilona, we're inside.
You should be right next to the launch pad.
Security breach in the silo. All units converge on Sector 4 immediately.
Swarm missiles ready. Rocket ready. Main gun ready.
Unauthorized personnel in Sector 4.
Contact!
Repeat. Unauthorized personnel in Sector 4. All units converge on Sector 4 immediately.
Rocket reloading. Rocket ready. Rocket ready.
Ilona, missile shield.
Head down.
We need
You'll
another
have to use
access
the
point.
exhaust vent on the bottom floor.
Copy. Down the stairs. Keep moving forward.
Swarm missiles ready.
They're going to launch. Go, go.
Launch in T-minus 4 minutes. Cargo loading in progress.
Rocket ready. Swarm missiles ready.
AST's ahead. Target them first.
Launch in Cargo loading complete.
Rocket ready. Swarm missiles ready. Rocket reloading. Rocket ready. Swarm missiles ready. Rocket ready. Swarm missiles ready. Rocket ready. Swarm missiles ready. Swarm missiles ready.
Launch in T-minus 2 minutes. Stage 3 boosters check complete.
There's an access point to the exhaust vents up ahead. I'm sending you the position.
Got it. Keep pushing forward. There's the hatch. Mitchell, over here.
Launch in T-minus 1 minute.
Go.
Gideon, come on, start.
Begin primary launch in 5, 4, 3,
Brace yourself. Keep going. Hit it with everything you've got.
Rocket ready. Rocket ready. Swarm missiles ready.
Mitchell, hang on. We stopped it. We stopped the launch. I'm gonna get you out of here. Stay with me. Enemy to the south. Okay, I see him. Fire!
keep moving. Stay with me.
Sentinel 2-1. City defenses are breaking. Atlas troops are collapsing. We need to know the status of that launch.
Copy that, Kingpin. The launch has been aborted. Repeat, launch is aborted. Copy. Kingpin, come in.
Ilona, are you receiving?
Damn it. Cut off. We need to move. They're gonna hit this building any minute. I'm setting you down. I need you to try and walk, Mitchell. Need to find some light.
Hello, Mitchell.
Don't you fucking move.
I could ask the same of you.
You're hacking into our exos! Come on, ammo!
You rely too much on those things.
City is falling. It's over.
What I have started won't end with me. It's bigger than me, and it's certainly bigger than you. You think I'm a monster? That's only because you don't have the conviction to do what's necessary.
Necessary? The attack on America, unleashing Manticore, killing thousands of innocent people?
I'm saving the world from itself. When there's no one left to challenge Atlas, there will be no more wars. There had to be sacrifices along the way.
Yeah. Twisted fucks throughout history have used the same argument. I don't know who've stopped the launch. They'll bring this entire building down on top of you!
I could have killed you in the prison camp. I could kill you now. But I won't. I'm not a monster.
Mitchell, try to hit the release on your exo. Now mine. It's not working. There's no time. If he gets away, this will all have been for nothing. Go. Now!
Don't let Irons get away! Hurry, Mitchell! Keep going!
Mitchell, pull me up. I'm not letting go. You've got to pull me up. Mitchell, there's only two choices. You either pull me up, or this whole building goes down and we go down with it. Mitchell! What are you doing? Mitchell! I gave you that arm! Mitchell! I gave you a second chance! Mitchell!
I've got you, mate. I've got you. It was only gonna end one way for him.
Irons gave me a second chance. And I gave it back. He thought he could solve the world's problems. If he did have the answer, he took it with him to the grave. But he was right about one thing. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning.
No father should have to lose his son. It goes against the natural order of things. Without our sons, we have no future. I've spent my life fighting stupidity and cowardice for a better world, where good people can prosper and thrive without fear. I know the cost. I see it every day, and I accept it. But I can't accept this. Will's tragedy can't be for nothing. I'll make sure of that. This is not where it ends. This is where it begins. I checked in on Mitchell today. Gideon's kicking his ass, but he'll get there. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and that same determination that Will had. I can see why they were close. The Marines, in their infinite wisdom, deemed him unfit for duty. Can't fight with one arm. Never tell a soldier what he can't do. If anyone deserves a second chance, it's guys like Mitchell. Give me an army of men like him, and there's nothing Atlas can't do. Lagos. If there were a better example of government ineptitude, I haven't seen it. The KVA walked in like they owned the place, like it was their right to take whatever they wanted. Helpless, the officials come to me. They came shocked that a few well-armed men can bring a nation so great, so powerful, to its knees. What sort of men are they? They ask. I tell them they are simply men who are willing to do whatever it takes to achieve their goals, without emotion, without bias. And once you understand this most basic of facts, you have everything you need. Above-ground nuclear power facilities have been a tactical hazard since their inception. In 2048, Atlas submitted a lengthy report to the Defense Department on the security risks. I guess they didn't like the findings because they buried the report. I think they gave us the security contract just to shut us up. But that's not why I accepted the job. I took the contract because Atlas would give the taxpayer the best return on their buck. We spent millions on concrete reinforcements. We build anti-aircraft defenses, but our greatest achievement? Eliminating human error. You can build your defenses as strong as you like, but the human race is the weakest link in any system. When an attack does come, and I have no doubt it will, then mark my words. It will be because someone has left the door unlocked. You can't protect what you can't control. Leaders lead. Success or failure comes down to the choices we make. Capturing Dr. Danois and bringing him to justice would be a decisive step forward in the hunt for Hades, but what purpose does it serve to prosecute this man for his crimes if we can use him to prevent future crimes against humanity? Hundreds, maybe thousands, have been killed by this man's experiments, but what if the results could one day benefit humanity and save lives? Is it wrong to put that knowledge to use, regardless of how it was obtained? It's only right that we respect the dead. What better way to honor them than give meaning to their demise? Scientific data exists outside any moral framework. It's a resource that can be exploited for good or bad. The choice is ours. But to choose to do nothing with it is no choice at all. It is to accept that innocent people died for nothing. A mission of this scale is a serious endeavor in the best of circumstances. Operating in the middle of a busy tourist destination is, without doubt, extremely risky. But the risk is the key to our success. Hades has gambled on our humanity. No government can survive the public outcry if hundreds of innocent tourists are killed in a botched mission. Hades knows this. But we're not the government, and our power does not come from popular mandate. The government could have stopped us, the United Nations could have stopped us, but they didn't. Why? Because they think I've stepped into my own trap. They've seen what Atlas can do, and they know how powerful Atlas has become. They're afraid, more afraid of me than they are of Hades. And with the KVA on the run, who is left to disrupt their status quo? They look at us, and instead of seeing our success, they see a threat. Someone too powerful to control, too powerful to stop. And so they've gambled on our failure and their right to be afraid. Failure is not an option for us. As long as we deliver Hades' head on a stick, no one will want to stop us. They'll want to follow us. If you want to sell people on your vision, show them. They call this part of the world the cradle of civilization. For 10,000 years, it was the center of trade and culture, home to kings, caliphates, despots, and dictators. The first images of war I ever saw came from this place. 2 wars in 2 decades with nothing much to show for it. I saw how wars quickly became quagmires, if not prosecuted effectively. If ever there was somewhere that represented the utter failure of governance, Baghdad was it. While our leaders left this place to its fate, I took this as an opportunity to seize our destiny. 50 years of rot, and we rebuild it in 5. Now, New Baghdad is more than just a thriving city. It's a symbol of what's to come.
Everybody thinks their ideas are right. That's why the people you call terrorists call themselves freedom fighters. The fundamentalists think they're right, the capitalists think they're right, the communists think they're right. And no one will ever convince anyone of anything. And all these honorable men lecturing the world from the floors of congresses and parliaments whose time has long since passed refuse to admit, publicly at least, ideas don't determine who's right. Power determines who's right. And I have the power, so I'm right.
On days like these, it's hard to remember what progress looks like. Billions of dollars, years of research. The human body is not a machine that we can simply rebuild. Tissue damage takes time to heal. Cells take time to grow. We are mortal creatures, and time is never our friend. We've successfully accelerated the growth process, but the cells are unable to sustain themselves after a certain period. Nevertheless, Danois continues to be a valuable asset. Without Danois, Manticore would have died at the developmental stage. Disloyalty? There is no greater crime. There is no punishment harsh enough. They must have recruited Mitchell. I saw something in him, something you rarely see in a man. A leader. Something of myself, maybe. A man who can follow blindly, yet still think for himself. Will had to strike out on his own. Disloyal? I used to think so. But maybe I was wrong. I like to think Will would have come back into the fold, given time. In order for a butterfly to be born, a caterpillar must die. At a certain point, imaginal cells are triggered in the caterpillar's DNA. And these cells remain dormant, but once activated, they suddenly behave like a cancer, aggressively attacking the healthy cells. The cancerous cells grow, and the caterpillar is eventually destroyed, but the cancerous cells become the basis of new life form, a butterfly. And so, the cycle continues. So cruel, yet so beautiful. Our greatest advances can equally lead to our destruction. Manticore is the fork in the road. One path leads to death, a weapon more powerful than anything before it, and the other to life, the regeneration of human cells, the conquest of death itself, immortality. You can turn anything into a weapon. It just takes imagination. Some of the most successful military campaigns succeeded simply because no one ever imagined it was possible. If you're planning to take out the most powerful naval force on the planet, forget about doing it in the open water. Strike from the depths of the ocean, or strike before it's even had a chance to leave port. By collapsing the bridge on the fleet, I will accomplish 2 things. The first is strategic, disabling the U.S. Third Fleet. The second, symbolic, For a century, the Golden Gate Bridge has stood for U.S. technological innovation and might. Destroy a powerful symbol of strength, and you turn it into an even more powerful symbol of weakness. Make an adversary feel weak, and they will become weak. A cowardly act of terrorism? Who the hell are they kidding? I went up against the largest naval fleet to ever sail the oceans with a small company of highly skilled and highly motivated special operatives, and won. They can spin it 1,000 different ways, but the images speak for themselves. Cowardly? No. I stand by my actions. Terrorism? Most certainly. If your actions do not inspire fear and terror in the hearts of your adversary, then you have no business waging war. The attack came as I predicted it would. In forcing them to react, they reacted foolishly because they are powerless to respond in any other way. An affront to their power is an affront to their very existence, but their show of strength, might, and resolve will merely expose their complete impotence. Power? They have no real power. They have propaganda. They have resources. They have committees and budgets, votes and vetoes, propositions and tabled amendments, all useless. Tomorrow, if we wake up at all, we will wake up to a new dawn, and that's when the real work begins. This moment has been years in the making. Billions of dollars. The years of research, the setbacks, and scientific breakthroughs. Many doubted that this day would come, but it has arrived. The genie is out of the bottle. Manticore exceeded all expectations and performed beautifully. This moment has been years in the making. Billions of dollars, the years of research, This moment has been years in the making. Billions of dollars, the years of research, the setbacks and scientific breakthroughs. Many doubted has arrived. The genie is out of the bottle. Manticore exceeded all expectations and performed beautifully. Even now, having seen it with my own eyes, it feels like a miracle. I walked completely untouched as hundreds of enemy combatants lay dying all around me, struck down on the battlefield where they fought. Every man has a unique DNA, a code that is his and his alone, just as each man's destiny is his and his alone. Whoever controls Manticore controls that destiny of mankind. Nothing and nobody can stand in our way. The enemy is at our gate, but we will never let them win. What I've started will continue, whether I'm here to see it or not. I'm merely an agent for change, guiding us toward our shared destiny. Our children will live to see the end of terror, famine, of oppression, and brutality. A world where all necessities will be provided. A world free from the tyranny of government, of artificial differences and false beliefs. A world united under one flag.
Democracy? Democracy. Democracy isn't what these people need. Hell, it's not even what they want. America's been running around the globe trying to install democracies in nation after nation for a century, and it hasn't worked one time. Now, why do you think that is? Because these countries don't have the most basic building blocks necessary to support a democracy. Little things like we ought to be tolerant of those who disagree with us, or we ought to be tolerant of those who worship a different god than us, or that a journalist ought to be able to disagree with a fucking president. And you think you can walk into this country based on fundamentalist religious principles, drop a couple of bombs, topple a dictator, and start a democracy? Give me a break. People don't want freedom. They want rules, boundaries, protections. From invaders and from themselves. People need a leader who can both provide the constraints and the support to keep chaos at bay. And you give them that, and they'll follow. And that's where I come in.